Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Devontae, and I sacrifice my time so you don't have to. You hear that right there, folks? You hear that noise? That's called ingenuity. That's called drive. That's called skill. Now, let me stop bullshit. Let me turn it down a little bit, though. Yeah, I got bored throughout the rest of the day because I was off and I had nothing else better to do. I mean, there was really nothing else to talk about in regards to wrestling. So I decided, hey man, I moved into this new apartment and, you know, I only have one air conditioner and I got it inside my living room. I don't have an air conditioner inside my room, nor do I need it. The air conditioner is pretty fine in the living room. It gets around the entire apartment. But, you know, I thought about it and I'm like, well, I mean, I got this extra room right here because my son sleeps with me and my baby mama inside our room now. And I got this extra room that I'm not using, but there's no air conditioner inside it. I'm like, fuck. I wonder if I can do one of those DIY air conditioner things like I've been seeing on YouTube. So I went out of my way and I looked up some YouTube stuff as far as how to do it. And honest to God, I found a really, really cheap alternative way to do it. And I even found my own little spin. I put my own little spin on it. So like they have the right like directions where it's like, oh, you get like a styrofoam cooler or you get like a regular cooler. I got a styrofoam one because I felt like it had better insulation because I wanted to put dry ice inside it. And like I got the styrofoam. I got they said to use those little elbow things, but I thought it was a lot better to just use the little dry venters, like the dryer vents. I got that. I got two of them, and I stuck one inside the other. I picked up one of those little portable fans, like the one you've seen in the earlier videos when on this channel. I got one from Walmart, and like I cut the diameter out for both holes, and then I stuck it through the top of the ice cooler styrofoam. But like when I did it initially, it was like just the fan and just like the fucking the dry vents by itself, nothing else. And I put ice inside it, and I noticed it was cold, but it wasn't like really, really cold, like air conditioner cold. So I looked up something else on the King of Random. I don't know if you guys remember that YouTube channel. And they were like, get like a platform with holes inside it, right? You could pick it up from Dollar Tree for like $1, which you can. I got like a little sink mat, and I cut it off a little tiny bit just to make it fit directly in the middle of the cooler, but not all the way down. I got another dry vent and I attached it to the already dry vent that I already have. I stuck that all the way down to the bottom, like right underneath the little sink mat that I have directly in the middle, dividing the cooler. It goes directly under the sink mat. I got some ice and I poured the ice on the bottom of it, left a little bit of room so the air can like circulate throughout the entire cooler. And then I put ice on the top half. So like the pipe is going directly to the bottom and it's taking all the air from underneath the sink mat, and then it's kind of distributing it throughout the entire cooler with the ice on top of the sink mat also circulating throughout the cooler. Then I got one fan and I put it on one end and it's blowing directly into the cooler. And then I got another fan and I attached that part of the fan to the dry vent. So it's not just blowing directly out of the dry vent, it's blowing directly out of the dry vent right into the fan. So when the fan starts circulating inside the cooler and blows out cool air, it'll blow out cool air through this fan right here that's circulating throughout the entire room. And I'll be damned, it works like a fucking charm. Right now, I brought it with me inside my car because I got tired of turning on my car and wasting gas, and it works like a fucking charm, bro. Like inside the car, I took the temperature of it before, because I wanted to do it before and after. It was 90 degrees at first when I got into my car, and now it's sitting at around like, let me see. It's now at, where are we at? 72 degrees. Which I think is actually pretty damn good considering the sun is still out right now. It's 6:55 in the afternoon or in the evening. I mean, it's not as hot as it was earlier today, but it's still relatively hot. Again, it was only like 90 degrees when I jumped inside the car, not even, 20 minutes ago? So I think that's a pretty good success that it went down damn near 30 degrees in like, 20 minutes? And it's working like a fucking charm. And then I can just easily, because my battery, because my battery fucked up a couple of months ago, and I ended up just buying one of the fucking the gel batteries, and I got my the portable USB port going inside of the car, the cigarette lighter, which attaches to the fan, so the fan will never die. It will just keep going until I get out of the car, and I, obviously take out the car charger USB thing, and I can turn it up, as you can hear, or I can turn it off, or I can turn it on, and it's just really fucking cool. I don't know, it's not wrestling related, but I just felt like sharing. It was really fucking easy. It was just really annoying having to go all over the place to buy all this stuff. But with that being said, I don't know why I went. I don't know, I just wanted to shoot the shit with y'all. I was really proud of this shit. God damn it. Let's get into the goddamn NXT Battleground review. Alright, that was a fine match. It was nowhere near one of the better ladder matches, but at the same time, I would definitely say that the priorities were on point with this woman. I will say that this is not the best ladder match of all time, but in my opinion, from looking at how they competed inside this, I love how they made going after the championship. And I know that's a Shawn Michaels call. I love how they made the entire match. Yes, it was about doing spots, but like, I probably counted like maybe 30 or 40 times each girl went after the championship belt. You do not see that often in ladder matches nowadays. Everybody has to get their shit in. Everybody has to do their spots. You know, with the FTR match with the Young Bucks, what was it, a couple of weeks ago? Or, well, right, about a couple of weeks ago? Or like 2 months ago? Like, bruh, you could probably count on one hand how many times they actually went after the championship belt. They had blood, they're doing spots, all these shenanigans and bullshit. And then you look at a ladder match like this, and it's like, yes, they're doing spots, but at the same time, the priority is to go after the North American Championship. Now, I will say, were there any good spots in this match? Nothing that was super crazy, to be perfectly honest with you. I would probably say the two most notable spots. For me, I'll probably say, no, just two. Honestly, it was just two. I like the spot with Lash Legend when all the girls picked her up in the military press and then threw her outside the ring, and she landed directly on the ladder that didn't break, which I'm kind of surprised because she's probably the biggest girl in the match, and you know, her landing in the match, she even turned herself in midair and the ladder still didn't break. And it was this, bruh, Ruca is so motherfucking dope. She is so fucking good, bro. That's Soul Snatcher shit, bruh. So she did it the ordinary way when, what's the girl's name again? When Jaida Parker threw her to the ropes, she like immediately, that shit just came out of nowhere how she pulled that move off. She threw her to the turnbuckle and then she just immediately put one foot on the turnbuckle and just front flip out right into a cutter. And then like she did it again to Fallon Henley when she tried to throw it to the ladder, and then she just immediately ran up the ladder and then hit her with another Soul Snatcher. That was so, the ladder version was so fucking dope. That was so fucking dope. And then we came to the conclusion of the match, which I gotta say, now on one hand, I would have preferred Ruca to have won the match, but at the same time, given the description of the title and given the person who won the title in stark contrast to the women's champion currently at the moment, it makes all the sense in the world. I don't disagree with it necessarily, but I don't know. I feel kind of deflated because the person who won the championship belt, which we'll talk about in a little bit, it's just one of those deals where it's like, I don't know, she just has the least in this entire match, as far as the least to give, as far as character is considered, as far as anything she brings to the table. She just doesn't have anything worth a damn for me to give a shit. But at the same time, given her description, given who the wrestler is, I get it. I completely understand. I wish Ruca would have won. But the finish essentially came when, like I said, with all the stuff that was going on, Ruca got clotheslined out of the ring by Mia Yim. And then Mia Yim, she took a heel kick by Kelani Jordynne, which she fell down, and then she immediately, for some fucking reason, this looks stupid as shit when she did this, Mia Yim, for some reason, rolled over to a ladder that was conveniently lying down perpendicular to the corner. And then as soon as she did that, Kelani Jordynne ran, and she did like the RVD split-legged moonsault, and then she connected on her, which Mia Yim then rolled out of the ring. Kelani Jordynne scaled up the ladder, and she won the North American Women's Championship. She is now the first ever North American Women's Champion. And like I said, if you take into account that Kelani Jordynne is like the definition of mid, it makes absolutely all the sense in the world as to why she will win the championship belt. I can't think of a better representation of a mid-card women's championship belt than a Kelani Jordynne. My thing is, though, at least for the time being, until you can fully establish the belt, I say make sure that you do have a divide, that you do have a hierarchy in regards to who goes after the women's championship belt and who goes after the mid-card women's championship belt, right? So for the people like Kelani Jordynne, like I said, I get it. For the rankings and for the divisions, everything that goes with that belt, as far as who the champion is considered versus Roxanne Perez, who you can argue is main roster already, it makes all the sense in the world. Just make sure not to mix them up all too much. You know what I mean? Like, if you have someone who is going after the women's championship belt, make sure they're ready for the women's championship belt. Do not have them go after the women's championship belt and then drop for some ungodly reason down to the North American women's championship belt. No, don't do that. Once you make it to the women's championship belt in NXT, your next goal should be getting ready for the main roster. You should not be dropping down to the North American Women's Championship belt. So when I look at the North American Championship, I do say to myself, I see people like, Kelani Jordynne carrying the belt. You can look at someone like a Thea Hell, who's probably someone who can go after that belt realistically, right? You can look at something, I think she just got injured not too long ago, but the girl, I forgot her name, Carmen Petrovic or something like that. She's probably someone who can go after the champion. I probably botched her name, but she's someone who could probably go after the championship belt, obviously. Maybe you can argue Fallon Henley, although you can make an argument that she probably should be in the world championship. So, but it all depends in the end of the day, right? But for people like Roxanne, for Perez, for people arguably like a Lola Vice, for people arguably like, I'm trying to think. There are multiple names you want to keep away from that mid-card championship because their name is established enough where they should just be focusing on the women's championship. And if you don't want them focusing on the women's championship, then get them the hell out of NXT and put them on either Raw or SmackDown. That's at least how I look at it. So with that being said, congratulations to Kelani Jordynne. I get it. I completely understand. I still wish it was so Ruca, but I get the decision. And to be quite frank with you, I kind of agree with it. I disagree with it from an opinion standpoint, but objectively, I agree with it, and I understand why they did it. And overall, I thought the match was fine. So with that being said, continuing on with the show. This was fine. This was just one of those matches where, like, again, it's a damn shame because, like I said, if this was like 15 years ago or 20 years ago, I would have been ranting and raving about how fucking awesome this match was. But unfortunately, it's 2024, and this is the kind of match you can get on television. That's what I'm saying. You do these matches so fucking often, whether it's NXT, and I will say that NXT obviously does it much less than the other shows, but still take into account NXT. And if you want to, you can take into account Raw and SmackDown when they occasionally do it every fucking week, or even worse, when it comes to the biggest offender, AEW, who does it in every single fucking match, no matter the fucking participant, no matter the goddamn show. The shit could be on Rampage, shit could be on fucking Collision, shit you could resurrect Dark Elevation, you could probably put it on that. We get these kind of matches so much that it takes away from the quality of the matches that happens to be on the PLEs or the pay-per-views, no matter what the fuck you want to call it. Swerve Strickland, I know, I get it. I call it pay-per-views, you call it PLEs, vice versa. I don't fucking know. It's a show that you have to pay for in order to watch it, you stupid fucking mark. Woo-sa! Regardless, though, this tag match, it started off, it was relatively, what would I say? How would I say this? Not boring necessarily, but just, I don't know, again, it's 2024, so a match starting off the way that it started off right here, one would say that there's nothing wrong with it, but because it took so long to get to the point where they're now starting to reach 2024 status, and because we have been conditioned to believe that in order for a match to be good, in order for a match to kick in the high gears when you start hitting the super kicks and shit, I would definitely say that the match started off not necessarily slow, but average. Painfully average, which in reality it's not really painfully average, but again, third time, it is 2024. So painfully average in today's standards would be, well, okay, that's just the norm about 20 years ago. I can't even really tell you any spots that were necessarily awesome. I mean, you got a pretty gnarly set out powerbomb from Luke Gallows. Thought that was pretty cool. You got a TKO from the top rope from Carl Anderson on, I think, Axiom. Of course he kicked out because did I remind you guys that it's 2024 and kicking out the moves, you know, that's just the forte of professional wrestling nowadays, right? Regardless, though, we came to the finish where you had Axiom. He ended up hitting a Spanish fly on, I believe, Carl Anderson, and then Nathan Frazer. There I go again. He ended up hitting that Spanish fly. Not Spanish fly, I'm sorry. That was Axiom. He He ended up doing the Phoenix Splash in order to pick up the win on Carl Anderson. He didn't really hit it all too much either. I mean, honestly, when you see him doing it, kind of like he hit his knees a little tiny bit. But, hey, he still hit it, and it's professional wrestling, so we just kind of look past those things anyways. He won the match, and then he was laid out, and you got Luke Gallows, and he's like, he's like, look at my face, I'm very angry, look at me, W angry. And I'm actually more shocked by the fact that we didn't get any AJ Styles. And I legitimately thought, at the very least, he was going to be in the crowd, because, you know, the OC got back together, so, and I would presume that AJ Styles would have done something. He didn't do anything with Mia in the ladder match. He didn't do anything tonight in the tag team match. Sure that he only cares about himself, but of course they're not going to tell that story appropriately or do it on SmackDown nevertheless. But it is what it is, and that's okay. So with that being said, continuing on with the show, like I said, it wasn't necessarily a bad match. It's just one of the matches you could probably miss, and they could have done it on a random episode of NXT, and you probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference. So this is my first time actually watching the whole underground thing that they did on Raw a couple of years ago, now being on NXT. I don't know. I like the concept more of the, what's it called? The pit match, the fight pit with the cage. That seems like it'd be a lot more aesthetically pleasing versus this match right here. Like, I get essentially they're kind of the same thing, just like there's a cage in between the guys versus this match is them kind of just going out there and having an unsanctioned match. Now, I will say, first things first, Lola Vice is so motherfucking sexy. Can I just put that out there again? She's like twirling her hips right now as we speak. She's so, goddamn, she's so fine. It makes no sense to be that fucking fine, bro. She's so bad, bro. And her theme song when she's just like twerking, bro, I swear. The I was willing to put that out of my ear just because of how sexy she was, to be perfectly honest with you. But the match in itself, can I just say, like, the concept behind it, it just, and maybe I'm thinking too deep into it. Maybe I'm thinking too deep into it, but it just kind of gives me Brawl for All vibes. Like, can I ask you UFC fans, you MMA fans, like a question? Like, actually two questions. Because I'm not really familiar with Lola Vice as far as being an MMA fighter. You know, I heard that her mom was a big deal, but I'm not too sure about her. Like, if this was a legitimate MMA competition, like, would she actually beat Shayna Baszler? Like, let's just say both of them were in their primes. Would Lola Vice actually beat her? Or is this just like, you know, like just all for shits and giggles, right? Like, oh, I don't know. Something just tells me that Shayna Baszler will probably beat the shit out of her in real life, but it's just one of those deals where it's like you have to do the whole sports entertainment thing behind all this. Because, like, what? I don't know. Sonya Deville, she's also like a MMA fighter, right? But they never really go out of their way to express that, right? But nevertheless, though, the match in itself was, I don't care for it. I didn't care for it at all. Like, do you guys ever just look at matches like this whenever they try to incorporate different sports and just say to themselves, like, damn, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Like, you don't know what you're doing as far as, like, trying to blend in these two, you know, the sports entertainment aspect and whatever other thing you want to bring into fruition, whether it's boxing, like the Brawl for All, whether it's football, like the stupid battle royals they like to do back in the 80s and 90s and shit, or whether it's MMA. It's like, it looks goofy as fuck, and I don't know. I bet anyone, like an MMA fan, just looks at this shit and just say, look at this goofy shit right here. They just laugh at it. They just fucking laugh at the absurdity of it all. And it just makes professional wrestling look so stupid and makes it look so fucking cheap. Now, granted, I would definitely say, like, you have Shayna Baszler, who's a badass. Apparently, Lola Vice is, in real life, a badass. I don't think she's more of a badass than Shayna Baszler. But again, that's just how I'm looking at it. Someone can tell me something else completely different. Hey, look, it's Sexy Red. Oh, yeah, go ahead and bounce your man booty around. That's pretty cool. I forgot that she happened to be the damn, the guest host for all this. I seen her actually in the intro. Let me stop lying. No, I just forgot, you know, as of this point right here. You know, she was bouncing her man booty all over the round in the ring earlier tonight, too. Nevertheless, though, like I said, going back to Shayna and Lola, I don't know. It just kind of makes a mockery out of professional wrestling. Maybe that's just me. You know, because you put us in like a position where the MMA fans are going to look at this shit and they're going to be like, look at this fake goofy shit. This is so stupid. This is so dumb. I mean, they didn't even go out of their way to wear like their actual MMA gear, like, you know, the trunks or like the brazier or however the fuck you pronounce it, the little bra shit. Like, nothing. Like, all they came out with, Shayna came out in her gi, and then what's her name came out in her little robe shit also. And that's to the point. I mean, outside of that, they just wore their regular wrestling clothes. It was just dumb. I don't like it at all. But like I said, out of curiosity, if someone is familiar with, you know, Lola Vice and her work as far as an MMA fighter, like, would she be able to take Shayna Baszler for real? Or, like, am I just that much of a mark for Shayna when it comes to her MMA stuff, even though I'm not familiar with it? So why am I calling myself a mark? I don't know. I just look at Shayna and I look at Lola, and I think to myself, Shayna looks like, you know, I don't know, like she probably eats your ear or something, and Lola Vice looks like, you know, she like to eat other parts of your body, or maybe that's just me dreaming. All right, continuing on with the show. All right, so how long do we have to wait before we start getting Femi prepared for the main roster? This dude is so fucking good. This is the second time I've seen him wrestle in a triple threat match, and he's just so good. He's so explosive. I love how the big men are looking in WWE in comparison to AEW when they treat them like complete and utter fucking jokes. The way they protect Femi from taking so many small person spots is... And it's sad because it's one of those deals where you look at that situation and you say to yourself that it's common sense that you should always go out of your way to protect your big man from taking small guy spots because, well, they're big man and they already have built into them a certain type of perspective and expectation. And one may even call this a character arc. I know, crazy in professional wrestling in 2024, right? But I look at a guy like Femi and I see the way that he performs, I see the way that he carries himself, and you look at other people like Braun Breaker, for an example, and you see how explosive he is, and they're both so fucking young. I think I got both of them. Braun Breaker, I think I got by like 5 or 6 years as far as age is considered, and I think I got Femi by like I don't know, because I know someone said that his mom said that he was born like in 98 or something like that, but I think Femi was actually born in 01, or maybe I got it mixed up and it's vice versa. Regardless, I got believe it or not, it doesn't sound like it and it doesn't look like it, but I got Femi by either 6 years at the least, or at the most I got him by a full fucking decade. It's fucking crazy. It makes me actually reevaluate myself and reevaluate my life and ask myself, what the fuck am I doing with it when there's a bunch of young kids nowadays making moves, and here I am working my 9 to 5 talking to you motherfuckers. But nevertheless, though, we had this match, and it's another great triple threat match. Now, I will say I might have liked the triple threat match at the last NXT event. I might have liked that one a little bit better. What was that? Stand and Deliver, right? I might have liked that triple threat match a little tiny bit better, but not by much. This triple threat still kicked a lot of fucking ass. These guys went out there and they just beat the dog shit out of each other. More particular, Femi to both of them. Joe Coffey, just by looking at him, he does not look like he's a small man. Yeah, Wesley does, but Joe Coffey does not look like a small man. And the way that Femi just manhandles this guy is so fucking impressive. He did the same thing to Briggs and Dijak at the last triple threat match. He is so fucking, and people talk about Cesaro, bro. Look, this man, bro, watch this match. Joe, if I had to guess Joe Coffey's weight, I'm going to say he weighs every bit of 250 to maybe 260 pounds. And to see him just pick him up with so much ease, to see him throw him up on his shoulders and catch him in that powerbomb is so fucking incredible. And don't even get me started to what this motherfucker did to poor Wesley. This motherfucker lifted Wesley up on the turnbuckle in the military press slam. He press slammed Wesley so fucking high, he literally went out of my camera view. Like, he went out of my television screen. That's how high he threw him into a crossbody. And one may say it was kind of reckless a little tiny bit because, man, he threw him high enough where he could have probably broken Joe Coffey's ribs, or maybe even Wesley's ribs, or maybe he could have overshot Wesley and he could have broke something on him. I mean, I will say that about Oba. He's incredibly strong and he's incredibly gifted, but at the same time, he may not know his strength a little bit too much and he might want to chill out a little. I know he's green, but you know, it shows when he does stuff like that. It was fun to see that kind of stuff, but at the same time, like, chillax, bro. Wesley is like half your size. You can't just be throwing people around like that. As impressive and as cool as it may look, it's really fucking dangerous in the end of the day. But he did do something else that was really cool also, when Wesley went for that plancha outside the ring and then he caught him in a powerbomb position. Then he did it again in the finish when Wesley tried to go for the Meteora and he caught him in the Meteora position and then powerbombed him out of that, which led into Joe Coffey taking a powerbomb, which was the finish inevitably. But, you know, just to kind of revert back a little tiny bit, you did get some stuff from Joe Coffey, you know, and if anything, Joe Coffey kind of looked like he was a little bit out of place with some of his spots. I will say that. He looked kind of confused sometimes in the match. But Wesley, he got a couple of you know, spots into his cardiac arrest move that he does. He did it. He actually hit it on both Coffey and he hit it on Femi at certain points in the match. You know, he did almost win the match when he hit it on Joe Coffey before the rest of Gallus. The rest of them came out and they started to attack him. I will say, I look at Gallus and I look at Gallus, excuse me, and I look at someone like Joe Coffey. Be careful. In the end of the day, this is still a stable. You don't want to make the leader look too incompetent. And now I understand that Wesley, you still want to protect him a little bit, you know, but at the same time, you know, be careful with that also. You don't want to, in spite of Wesley, bury Joe Coffey when he happens to be the leader of a stable who just got finished taking out like 3 of your superstars not even a couple of weeks ago, right? But like I said, you know, they kept interfering in the match throughout it. Eventually, it did get to a point with Femi. It was a cool spot, too, when, like, Gallus, they have, like, this camera shot aiming directly at the rampway, and both members of Gallus were kind of, like, standing there chanting on Joe Coffey to get up, and then, like, Femi, he, like, rose from the dead directly behind both of them in a great camera shot, and he attacked both of them. But like I said, the finish came with Wesley hitting the Meteora, and then him catching him out of the Meteora, and then hitting the powerbomb, and then he hit a powerbomb on Joe Coffey, and then he picked up the victory by pinning Coffey. So like I said, Femi, once again, impressing. I can't wait to see more of him. He is the future of professional wrestling, along with guys like Braun Breaker, and hopefully it's matches like this that kind of reverts back the status quo of seeing big men go out there and kick more ass and put themselves more into a position where we can kind of take this small guy mentality and get rid of it and, you know, get back to normal. And yes, that's what I mean when I say normal in regards to professional wrestling, because what we want to see in wrestling is larger than life talents, not people who look just like fucking us. But with that being said, right now I see Roxanne Perez, and right now I see Jordynne Grace, and they're about to go at it for the women's championship. So let's get to that. I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't make that the main event. I mean, pleasantly surprised, but nevertheless kind of surprised. I thought for a fact they were going to make that a main event for me, just because the Ethan Page match with Trick Williams lacks so much heat at the moment. I legitimately thought this was going to be the main event, so pleasantly surprised that that's not the case. But with that being said, let's get to that. That was actually kind of disappointing. You know, they could have actually done something a little bit different just to see like how much buzz this would have stirred up for not only TNA but for NXT in general, because I know people are probably saying to themselves right now that this is just a one-sided relationship when it comes to TNA and when it comes to NXT, that only TNA is the only ones who are against something, not the idea, because, well, I mean, they're the smaller promotion. I think if you would have let Jordynne Grace win the women's championship tonight, that would have probably done something for NXT also. You may say to yourself, well, Devontae, who the fuck's watching? Well, nah, but I mean, like, just trying to stir up something for the TNA women, also the NXT women. Because, I mean, when you think about it from a name perspective and you look at NXT in comparison to TNA, you can make a strong argument that Jordynne Grace is more known than Roxanne Perez, right? Especially given her longevity and as long as she's been around, you can make a strong argument. I know, obviously, NXT is a bigger deal than TNA, but just because of how seasoned she is and how many times we've heard her name and throughout the IWC, and quite frankly NXT's audience, although bigger than TNA obviously, it's all just the IWC when you think about it, right? There's no casual fan who really watches NXT or TNA, so there's a strong argument that you can make that Jordynne Grace is probably the biggest name currently going strong right now between NXT and between TNA. And it's fucking obvious as all shit that WWE really wants to sign Jordynne Grace. As a matter of fact, I think I heard some rumors that WWE they're actually serious. I've never heard this before for any talent, but they're seriously considering buying Jordynne Grace out from her contract from TNA. That's how badly they want her. I heard Shawn Michaels say that he was actually, and obviously that could just be, there's a sentiment that I can believe that there's something true about that, but then at the same time, obviously they're just playing it up a little tiny bit. But, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Shawn Michaels legitimately was jealous that, you know, the main roster got the opportunity to use Jordynne Grace, but he didn't. Again, clearly WWE really wants Jordynne Grace, and it's one of those deals where it's like, what a better way to make a splash for the Knockouts champion than for her to win the NXT championship. And obviously Roxanne Perez can always just get it back. And then when the time comes, when Jordynne Grace inevitably comes to WWE, which if she doesn't get bought out this year, trust me, she will be a part of NXT by 2025 next year. I think that's when her contract ends in the beginning of 2025, if I'm not mistaken, from what I read. What a better way to bring someone in and say to yourselves, like, oh, she's contracted. Before she was even contracted to WWE, you know, she was already the NXT Women's Champion. You know what I mean? I just feel like there's a bunch of things that you could have actually done and played around with rather than just having Roxanne Perez win the match. And like I said, the match in itself was really good. And, you know, the finish in itself was obviously, it had to been done. If their plans was to not, you know, take the belt off of Roxanne, you need a way in order to kind of get, you know, Jordynne Grace out of losing the match. Because I mean, obviously, you know, you have talent like Nia Jax, and she goes up against the women and she loses and all this other kind of shit. But there's just something, and honestly, one can say that about Nia Jax also, but it's Jordynne Grace, and she looks like China. You know what I mean? She looks like a shorter version of China. And it's just so fucking unbelievable to think, like, you look at Roxanne and you look at Jordynne, like, it just looks unbelievable. Like, that just makes wrestling look so fake. There's no fucking way in possible hell, if this was a real fight, that Roxanne Perez will even stand 1% of a fucking chance against Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace will rip her apart with her bare fucking hands. You know what I mean? So when you see stuff like that, and I don't know, man, that always bugs me about professional wrestling. Not to mention, like I said, the match and stuff was fine, but there were some spots in the match, more so with Roxanne Perez, that were, I can't even say that. I wouldn't say that. I think they just kind of played it up for shits and giggles, like the gory special, when they were kind of struggling to kind of transition from the pop rocks to that move. They kind of struggled with that for like a good 10 seconds. I didn't know what the fuck they were going with. But like I said, outside of that, the match in itself was fine. You got the little suicide dive DDT by Roxanne Perez. You know, you got some cool moves like a muscle buster from Jordynne Grace, which kind of pained me and killed me inside to see someone kick out of it, let alone a fucking woman the size of Roxanne Perez. And I will say, like, you know, they did play it as best as they could to kind of make it believable that, you know, Roxanne Perez kind of worked for Jordynne Grace to sell for some of her moves. They did the best that they could. It's going to be ridiculously hard to try to convince me that Roxanne Perez could do any damage to Jordynne Grace, but they did the best that they could. The finish essentially came where you had, what's her name again? Tatum Paxley. She came out and she stole Jordynne Grace's belt, right? And this is probably the surprise of the night, right? One can argue. While she's running with the TNA Knockouts Championship, she's being stopped by Ash by Elegance, aka Dana Brooke. Even the announcer, Vic Joseph, is that his name? Vic Romano, whatever the fuck his name is. He damn near slipped and called her Dana Brooke, which it probably seemed like that was a work. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Who the fuck cares in the end of the day? Nevertheless, though, Ash by Elegance was taking the belt away from Tatum Paxley. They were fighting over it before Jordynne Grace clobbered both of them with the championship belt, which it kind of looks like is going to probably be a triple threat match between Jordynne, Dana, and Tatum. And the reason why, because we did hear rumors that they were going to try to do like a kind of like a trade acquisition, like you're going to have, oh, well, Jordynne Grace could be used here, then there's going to be an opportunity for a TNA talent to go, or Jordynne Grace to take on the NXT talent. Like I said last week, it's going to probably be Tatum Paxley, but even then, it's going to be a way for Tatum Paxley to get out of it when Dana Brooke's going to be in the match in itself, and she's probably going to be the one to take the pinfall. So even someone as low on the totem pole as Tatum Paxley doesn't end up being the one taking the fucking finish. Hold on for a second, I see Lola Vice and Sexy Red. I don't know what the fuck Sexy Red said, but goddamn, Lola Vice. Dude, they had to twerk off. See, this is what we need more in professional wrestling, bro. Fuck this women's match where you can get shit like this, bro. Good. Googly moogly, good golly, Miss Smalley. And also Leo Rush. Wesley. I'm sorry, Leo Rush for braids. I'm sorry, no, Wesley, that's his name. He ended up getting jumped by Gallus backstage. I'm assuming they're going to probably have a match with Joe Coffey and Gallus coming up, or Joe Coffey and what's his name? I forgot his name again. Leo Rush for braids. Damn, Wesley. Gotta stop doing that. They're probably going to have a match coming up at, or wait, is it Wesley? Or is it Leo Rush? Or is it straight Anthony Bowens who just lost weight? I don't fucking know. They're going to have a match most likely coming up on Tuesday. They're right now promoting a bunch of matches right now coming up on Tuesday with Lexis King and Dante Shen and a Singapore Kane match. Got Javon Evans taking on somebody who I just missed. Jaida Parker's she's going up against Michin. That's going to happen. Like I said, Javon Evans is going to have a match, which I can't. Let's get back to the women's match. Who fucking cares about this? We'll get to that on Tuesday. Like I said, Roxanne Perez, she ended up winning the match. She hit, what's her name? Well, actually, I will say this. I'm sorry. Jordynne Grace, she attempted to hit her finisher, the little sit-out cradle that she does. But what's her name reversed that into like a cutter almost. It actually looked really fucking cool. And then she ended up hitting her with the pop rocks. It actually looked good this time, right? Go figure. Then again, it is Jordynne Grace taking the move, so of course she's gonna make it look good. And she ended up winning the match off of that. But like I said, this was all probably done just to set up for Tatum Paxley and Jordynne Grace and Dana Brooke to have a triple threat match for that championship belt. It is what it is. The working relationship is going to be a working relationship, and obviously the time is going to come when Jordynne Grace is inevitably going to come to WWE. But with that being said, coming up next, we got Trick Williams, Tricky. And we have Ethan Page. Let's see if they give us any surprises. So far, pretty much everything, aside from Kelani Jordynne, which, I mean, it was a 6-woman ladder match. I mean, obviously that's going to be predictable by nature. But aside from that, all these matches have been predictable. There's been no title changes. So I'm curious as to what's going to happen in this match right here. Is this going to be the sole title change? We will see when we get there. Also, one more thing, too. Can we, seriously, even NXT, I thought they were the metal show, right? Can we get back to the metal music, the rock music? Holy fuck, these terrible goddamn themes. So I've been hearing this shit throughout the night in the past couple of weeks, bruh. Goddamn. Look at my balls. They're big and infested. Can I use your mouth? Maybe I can fix it. It's fucking horrible. Get back to the metal music, goddamn. Oh man, goddamn, this felt like, man. As far as like that deflating feeling that you get in professional wrestling that reminds you that, which is the theme of this entire show to me, it's just a reminder that we're in 2024. I mean, damn, what the fuck was the point of all this if it was just gonna be a straight up victory by Trick Williams? I mean, this just felt way too damn safe. There was no risk taking at all on this show, period. Like, it was just straightforward, predictable, no title changes. I mean, maybe you can say that you awarded a new champion because of the 6-woman championship match, but I feel like that's a cop-out. Everybody retained their championship belts. There was no progress as far as story is considered. It was just go in there, Bob's your uncle, win the match, get the fuck in, get the fuck out type of match. And it wasn't even just this match. That was just it throughout the night. Get in, win your match, get out, do something else. And everybody who you thought or at least suspected to win outside of the 6-woman ladder match, they won. It was just, I almost want to say that it kind of gives you, it's not as if the match in itself was boring, but it does kind of give you like a stale kind of feeling. You know what I mean? Like, this is my first show as far as NXT. This is my first ever NXT. Well, I would say first ever. This is my first NXT show where I've actually followed the build going into the pay-per-view in over a decade. The last show that I remember watching, I didn't even watch the build to NXT Brooklyn in 2015. I just went directly into the show. The last show that I can remember when I was actually following NXT up until I just started following it again recently was honestly maybe, you know what, shit you're not? It probably was when Sami Zayn won the championship belt and then Kevin Owens turned on him back in 2014. I think that's the last time I could remember following the show week to week to week to week and then watching the pay-per-view in itself. That's the last time I remember doing that. That was like, what, 2014? Like around Christmas time in 2014, if I remember correctly. I was like, what, 21? No, I was 22 at the time. Like, to do that with this show, watch the build for the first time in almost over a decade, and then like get directly into the show in itself, and to see how almost corny the results were, man. I didn't like this at all. This just felt kind of like a waste of time. And it's not even to say that I disagree with the people who won the match, but like, if you're not gonna do something surprising as far as a finish is considered, then at least follow up on it in regards to like what's gonna get us to want to tune in on Tuesday. Because honestly, really sit back and ask yourself. And look, I fuck with NXT, and I will be reviewing the show this Tuesday because usually they're a little bit more consistent. Not tonight at all. I will absolutely say they were not consistent tonight. I looked at this main event and I looked at the rest of the show, and really ask yourselves, you know, what's the hook for Tuesday? There's no way I'm gonna go after a show like AEW, who does this on a consistent basis, and not take the task NXT, especially when I have higher expectations for NXT. They're the good show. They're the ones that kind of cleanse my palate when going into wrestling these couple of weeks, right? Because Raw, I can't even catch because I'm at work, and even when I can catch it, I refuse to because it's fucking Raw, and there's no way I'm doing any kind of sit through any fucking episode of Raw. AEW Dynamite is a complete fucking waste of goddamn time, and SmackDown can be a bore sometimes. Actually, most of the times these past couple of weeks. So I go to NXT because I want my palate to be cleansed. And like tonight, I looked at all the results and I looked at all the stuff that happened directly after the match, which was nothing. I don't have a reason to watch NXT this Tuesday. Now, again, I will, but I don't have, like, why? What's the reasoning as to why I'm tuning in to NXT? To watch all the matches they just got finished saying was going to be on the lineup this Tuesday? There's no match that I see that makes me want to watch NXT this Tuesday. Nor will there ever be a legitimate match. The only kind of matches that I want to watch when building into a show realistically, is when you build it up to the point where I want to watch it. Like, this could have been something incredibly interesting with Ethan Page. They had multiple opportunities tonight to do at least one thing to get the wrestling world talking, and they didn't do a damn thing. Another missed opportunity right here. You know, you could have done something as far as the guy coming in on his first night, winning the NXT championship, probably sticking it to Tony Khan saying, hey, we took one of your guys who you left on Rampage and we made him a world champion. And we're going to do more with him. And we're going to show you what you were missing out with this specific talent. Just like you did Cody Rhodes. You know what I mean? And instead, you put him in a match. He goes in there. He has a good match. Nothing great. Nothing that you should go out of your way to go watch. Just a solid good match. You know, he put on a solid match. You put him out there, and he loses in the most typical fashion. In the most, WWE fashion you could possibly think. You know, he goes out there, him and Trick have a relatively standard match. It gets to a point where he hits him with an Oklahoma Stampede through the announcement table. Throws him back in the ring. He hits him with his all ego finish. First night in. And I'm telling you, professional wrestling is so fucking lame nowadays. That's that guy's finish. Not to mention, like, fuck, you know, not call me a mark all you want to, but I'm so fucking tired of this fucking lame ass kicking out of finishers in every goddamn fucking match, bro. It's such a disgrace to see what finishers have become nowadays. You know, when I grew up, man, no one kicked out of finishers. It was so fucking rare to see someone kick out of a finish. And to see something like Scott Hall's Razor's Edge get kicked out of so many damn times. That was one of the more protected finishers. They protected that move no different than how you see Baron Corbin's End of Days protected today. Just like you see Sheamus's Bro Kick protected today. Razor's Edge was just as protected, and to see so many people use it and so many people kick out of it, it's not just him. You know, you got people like Damian Priest, he uses it also, and they kick out of it also. You got Sheamus, he uses it also with the Celtic Cross, they kick out of that too. Like, bruh, but that was that guy's finisher. And you know, Trick, I just don't understand why do you have to do the move in order for it to be kicked out of? You don't have to do the move. You can circumvent the issue and do everything else but that move to be kicked out of. And yet you do it anyways. It's so fucking lame. And then afterwards, of course, this is the finish. I shit you not. The most WWE finish you could possibly think. What do you think happened after he hit the Razor's Edge? Ethan Page, what do you think happened? He got in the referee's face. He was confused. He was like, how the hell did Trick Williams kick out? What the hell? And then Trick Williams is leaning on the turnbuckle. He runs over there and he starts to punch him in the face. I shit you not, they did this. He starts to punch him in the face. The referee pulls him back. He goes in there. He's losing his mind because he kicked out of his finish. The referee pulls him back again. And then Trick Williams hits him with the trick knee. And he wins. Just like that. I shit you not, that was the finish. He hits his finish. Trick Williams kicks out of his finish. He runs to the corner. He's ballistic. He can't believe this just happened. The referee pulls him away. He goes back in there. He starts to clobber him some more. The referee pulls him away again, gives him a little bit more distance, and then Trick hits his finish and gets the 3 count. And then you got Sexy Red coming out, and they start to dance, and it's just... This was lame. This was lame. I can't even front. This was fucking lame. This was lame. There's nothing really notable about the match. Like I said, it was about as fundamental as you could possibly fucking get. To the point where I don't even know if I want to even say this is 3 stars. I might even want to say 2 3/4. I might be nice and say 3 stars because, like I said, they told a story. You know, he was working over his back the entire time. Ethan Page, that is. It was just so cliche that it just came off as... Like I said, almost, I don't want to say boredom, but I think tiresome is probably the best way to explain it. And maybe I would have went up like a full star. Maybe I would have went 3 3/4 had Ethan Page won, just because the story that would have came out of it would have been mind-numbing. It would have been mind-boggling. You let a guy who just came in on his first night win the NXT championship? Imagine if that would have happened. Imagine if Jordynne Grace, a TNA woman, won the women's championship? Huh? Yet... both matches squandered. Makes it almost feel like it was pointless to watch this show, to be perfectly honest with you. You could have honestly just got the results and you probably would have been just as better off. Like I said, if for anything else, I mean, I don't know, I guess you can have a reset coming up on Tuesday. That's the best thing I could possibly say. Outside of that, this show was just there. It was just there. I can definitely say I'm very disappointed just because it's an NXT show and I was expecting a lot more. But yeah, guess we'll just tune in for Tuesday to see what they're gonna do, and hopefully that upcoming show that they end up doing, I think they're gonna go to Canada if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully that show ends up a hell of a lot better than this, because this show, this wasn't it. This wasn't it. Can't even front. Not gonna lie, not gonna play any type of biased partisanship. I'm only biased to good wrestling. This show, on the other hand, it was just there. Not terrible, but absolutely not great. And there's nothing coming out of the show that's worth talking about. With that being said, my name is Devontae, and I'll be catching you guys later. Deuces. P. Eyes. I'm very disappointed. Do better, Sean. I have higher expectations for you, Sean. Come on. This is it. Come on. Do better.